Hi, good morning. Um, I'm Maria. This is podcast episode 4 for Pause Alchemy of Women. Thanks for joining me. If you're joining us live, you can drop something in the comments. If you're watching the replay, if you could put hashtag replay so I know that you were here, or any comments. You're also welcome to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which I would love. And I'll put the link in the comments a little later. So today is interesting. So I started an email newsletter, which I would love for you all to receive. So if you haven't received it yet, I sent it out 2 days ago. So if you haven't received it yet, private message me your email so you can stay in the loop. There's lots of interesting info. There'll be some freebies in there. You'll be able to hear what I'm going to talk about on the podcast, any upcoming events, or hear more about my coaching, book a call with me. Yeah. So please feel free to send me an email with your email address or send me a message with your email address. So today, as I said, I started an email newsletter and I wanted to feel really prepared and I wanted to share each week what I was going to talk about in the podcast. And apparently I don't work that way. Hi, Abby. So I wanted to talk about cortisol and stress and the effects of stress and cortisol on our systems, on the aging process and on our health and everything. And I will talk about that, but not today. So I woke up today and I was tired. I had a long week in Cusco, which is a big city. And, cortisol is a topic that really interests me. I love science. I love talking about hormones and menopause and all sorts of things, right? But I wasn't feeling it, right? And so I talked to a friend, actually, Abby, who's on right now. And I said, I don't want to talk about cortisol, but now I told everyone I was going to talk about cortisol. And how am I going to not talk about cortisol when I said I was going to talk about it? And then with her help, it dawned on me, here I am, in charge of this group, Pause Alchemy of Women. And my main goal to help women to grow older gracefully, to be happy with themselves, to not need to change their faces surgically or any other way, to really live authentically themselves, to live like a big, juicy life that you love and that you're happy with, and you're happy with all of your decisions. And here I am forcing myself to do a podcast that I don't want to do. Because the main thing that I love to teach women is to be easy on yourself. That's a thing that we don't learn how to do. We don't learn how to be easy on ourselves. We learn to go, force everything, make it happen, buck up and just do it, right? And that's kind of against what I want to teach everyone, what I want to guide everyone, what I want to do for myself. So if it's not hurting anyone to change the thing that you agreed to do, then change it if you want to change it, and I get into this, but I said that I would, which is a good quality also because, I like to keep my word. But like I said, when it's not hurting anyone, and you really are not feeling it, I said that I would, but the email says that I was going to talk about it. It's important, cortisol. I don't want to change it. I don't want to be flaky. I don't want to disappoint. I want to be professional and outcome my people-pleasing tendencies. But what I found is that when I am doing a podcast or Facebook Live or anything, I really want to come from a place of my heart, a place from being inspired, a place from feeling good. I want to share with you important things, but in a way that feels really authentic to me. And so, as women, we tend to put others first. We tend to not honor our energy levels. We tend to, this is, of course, overall generalization, but have flimsy boundaries that are kind of easily easily swayed, at least speaking for myself, that happens with me. We're people pleasers. We tend to have this martyr syndrome of like, no, I'll do it. It'll be fine. Don't worry about me. I know my grandmother was like that. And she was very nice, but she was also kind of a doormat, and saying yes, we want to say no. And so sometimes things are important. You need to like pick your kid up at school and you don't feel like it. You have to get them, but our lives are filled with shoulds. Our lives are filled with, I should do this. I should feel good enough to go on camera. I should feel good enough to talk about the thing I was going to talk about. I should. No, and I would love to erase this from our vocabulary, because should to me comes from a place of people pleasing, and also this good girl place that we talked about last time on the podcast of, just be a good girl. How are we older women, 50s, 60s, 70s, and you're still trying to be the good girl of saying like, well, I should do it, So that's why I decided to not talk about this, about cortisol today. And I'll probably talk about it next week. But, when the group is called Pause First, Alchemy of Women, down with the shoulds, says Abby. But our group is called Pause. And it was originally a menopause group. But when I realized that the themes are bigger, I kept the word pause, because I feel like that's what we all need. We need to pause, reconnect to how we're feeling, reconnect to what it is that we really want to do in this moment and in life, and for ourselves first. And I'll say it again, I've said it before, being careful about honoring yourself first is not selfish. You got to put your own oxygen mask on, they always say. And so, but when I was doing just the menopause group, I realized one of the main issues that come up as women is this: when is it me time? Like, when am I first? When do I get to decide for me? When is it not about my husband, my job, my kids, my whoever? And the time is now, I'd say. So today I felt really proud of myself for choosing to talk about this topic, which was more inspiring to me than about cortisol. But, cortisol is the stress hormone, and this is going to come in next week when I talk about it. And so the other thing that came up for me today was, I think it's about comparison, right? And they say that comparison is the thief of joy. Because if you're always looking to see what other people are doing, and of course, this platform that I'm using, Facebook, is one of the main places where you can get sucked into the comparison downward spiral. But, this, I think it comes from the topic that we talked about last week, was what's mine and what's from the outside. What are my thoughts and what do I feel about myself, and what is coming from the outside, ideas, thoughts that you have in your head that aren't even yours, the shaming piece. And then the comparison piece of others doing it better. So other moms, other wives, other career women, other women who are better spiritually than you, or growing older better, or in better shape better, and what does that mean? So for me, I fall into this trap in the business section. So it kind of happened for me today. I have a business mentor who is amazing. She's wonderful. Her work is great. But we're very different people. And so this is how I fell into the trap of what I wanted to talk about today, because her style is way more organized than mine. She suggested having themes and having topics that you would talk about, and putting your podcast themes in the email, which I did. And I was like, oh, I felt very accomplished. And then I realized, honestly, it's not me. I don't do well that planned. It works for her and probably a lot of other people, but it doesn't work for me, because I really feel like I need to feel inspired in the moment. I do need a little bit of organization, but I need to feel this freedom, the freedom to change, the freedom to wake up and say, ooh, I had a topic I wanted to talk about, and to speak from my heart, and to not have it be totally planned. And these are the things that, the comparison comes in, but like, oh, but they do it and that works for them, and I guess the big point of this whole thing that I'm saying is, I want us to first feel free to really be ourselves. Feel free to wake up and not feel like doing the thing that you thought you might do, and honoring ourselves. Because I said a bunch of Facebook lives ago, I called it happiness is better than Botox, right? Because feeling good and feeling like you're making your own choices and feeling like you don't need to compare yourself to others, that you don't need to live up to other people's standards that aren't in line with yours, or that you don't feel like are necessary. And, just really living authentically from yourself. And these are the things that make me feel young. These are the things that make me feel happy. These are the things that make me feel passionate and inspired, living in my own authentic truth that's true to me. And so not getting rid of the shoulds and getting rid of what's outside and really honoring what's inside. And so I just wanted to come on and share that with you today, because I fell into the trap myself today of like feeling like I needed to do something that wasn't in alignment with how I really feel. And it actually made my whole day better, and it made me happier, which, like I said, happiness is better than Botox. So happiness makes your frown lines go away, in my opinion. So anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and I'd love to get into this topic more. And if there's anything specifically that I talked about that you'd rather, that you'd like to get into more, like maybe comparison or talking about shoulds, I would love to hear from you. So thank you so much. I'm going to go live a stress-free day from not having to talk about stress and hormones today. But I promise I will talk about that sometime next week. So thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube. And if you would like to be on the email list, private message me your email. Thank you. Have a great day.